107K BTC. There's a little bit of pain in the market, but believe it or not, some of these altcoins are actually hanging on, and there's a reason behind that. So guys, today we're going to look at that. Is there going to be a little altcoin bounce here off these levels? I love these exciting times when the market's falling over. There's so much to talk about here. Let's get right into it. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. I've got a special guest here today. I brought 𝗂𝗄𝗃. He's back from his, what do we call it, a vacation. Well, he's back, okay? He's back, and he's banging. He's got 3 entries for us that are around the corner here, potential bounces. There might even be a short that he's working on for us. So that is exciting there. So welcome, sir. We'll see you in a second. And then guess who's here? Mr. 𝗵𝗆𝗟, okay? Long or short today, sir?
Invalidated, actually.
Okay, he might be a little bit bearish. Okay, so I must tell you something. It's been pretty wild, but once again, this hedge situation has saved my ass. Okay, I haven't had to change undies more than once so far today. So we nailed cake, we nailed dupe shorts yesterday, and that's definitely helped the current situation. So hopefully you guys are starting to figure out that shorting is okay, and it can definitely help us along the way. Now, TON, we are talking about that. There's tons of news around TON at the moment. There's tons of pumpage, and is it another short opportunity? So we're going to look at that one today. And then I'm covering a lot of stuff here, but it's generally quite messy, just in terms of what me and 𝗂𝗄𝗃 have just done. If you guys want to do some degen shit, we loaded up on Sol. We are in 𝗏𝗏𝗏. I've taken a scalp long on Zcash, and what else? There's a couple of things. Oh, and my alarm for launch coin just went off. So we're going to talk about that together. If there's a trade to take, we'll take it together. Okay, so lots to talk about here. And let's start with BTC. Let's look at Captain Rinse at the moment, and we can see what's going on here. We've just lost our trend on the 2-hour, and things are looking a little bit bleedy. Now, there's 2 big areas that I'm paying attention to. Right now, it's this current zone where you can see they are trying to react, but there's a big one for me a little bit lower down here, mid 106K. So call it 106,600. I've got horizontals. I've got some VWAP action. So I'm looking for something in this area. Just depends how aggressive the selling is going to be leading into this FOMC release later on today. There's obviously a little bit of de-risking going on. And then in terms of how deep can they take it, look out for a wick down to 106. So if they do drop it now while we're sitting here, look out for this move and a sneaky wick into 106, and that might be a possible reversal play there for us. Maybe we're going to get that deep V recovery that I love so much. Then a little bit lower down in terms of emergency levels, there seems to be a macro 382 sitting at 104,800. So get these levels ready, get your alarms on, and know that you can react on these zones, and these are high probability reaction zones. Okay, so we're going to see what's going to happen there, and then you can see this arrow at the bottom, guys, looking for reversal, keeping it really simple. You can see our 2-hour is close to bottoming out. What happens when the 2-hour starts bottoming out? You tend to get bounces, okay? And there's obviously divergence helped on that occasion. But basically, we are nearly there, okay? So we're nearly there. So just hang in there, okay? What we can see at the moment is dominance is behaving, and that is why these alts aren't absolutely getting rinsed. I know a lot of you high leverage traders are feeling a lot of pain at the moment, but if you actually zoom out and you see what's going on, look at 𝗏𝗏𝗏, for example, still holding levels, believe it or not, and BTC is actually dropping some levels here. So that is always a good sign for us. And that can often tell us that we might be getting some kind of altcoin bounce. Okay, so brace yourselves, Sheila. We might get a little bit of action in the next couple of minutes. Are you pumped about this, sir? Are you pumped?
I'm busy aping in, sorry, but yeah, I'm buzzing.
Into what, sir?
I'll show you in a minute, don't worry.
We need entries. When entry,
aping,
bro? Okay.
Now, aping.
Aping. Okay, well, keep it coming, guys. Let us know in the chats. Are you getting lickies? How's things going? Are you ready to take a couple of entries? Let's talk lickies quickly. And in terms of lickies, it's actually not bad. I don't know what's going on here. 220 milli. This is wrong. I mean, it should be 𝗏𝗏𝗏 here at least at the moment. So 220 million. Interesting to me. I actually would have thought it would be a lot higher. And babe, please take some profit. Please take some profit. I'm buying more. I'm buying more. Who does this? Who does this and then does the round trip? Who does this? I'm busy doing a round trip on Sol. I'm going to show you. I've just loaded up some more Sol here. We had like $90,000 long here on Sol. Let's see. Is it rinse time? Are they going to send me or are they going to end me? We're going to see. FOMC meeting minutes drop at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So that is just around the corner, guys. That is why there's a little bit of action in the market now. And that is why you can see I'm so excited. I'm quite pumped because when I see red, I actually start getting happy. Okay, right? It's a weird thing, but that tells me our money-making opportunities are around the corner. Okay, GameStop GME, this is bullish. Buys 4,700 BTC. I think they announced this already. This is not new news, but the market did like this. James, it's kind of old. It's a week or two old.
We knew they were going to, right? But they've actually proven the purchase, right? So they put out numbers today. They showed the receipts that they actually bought this. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's on. It's not like we didn't know about it, but I think there was a little pump around that that information as well. And then Nick says, big coming day today. FOMC minutes, okay, we know about that. So that's detailed insight into the Fed stance on inflation, growth, and rate cuts. It's going to be super important. This is going to dictate what happens now with the markets. We're going to see, is he still fighting Trump? Are they going to let it go? We're going to see what's going down. And then the other big one today is the NVIDIA earnings. Now, we know sentiment in the markets in general love a bit of NVIDIA action, okay? They love that stuff. And obviously, the market is waiting with bated breath to see what is going down. But in terms of the S&P, you can see relatively, it's red today for sure, but it's not the end of the world just yet while the market waits. So no major changes here for the S&P at the moment. The big gap we know is down to 5,650. That is a big support zone. Until then, let's see what happens. In between, we've got our 200-day moving average that the TradFi guys love. And there it is, 5,780. Okay, so that is our support. What do I want to see? Well, you know the story. I want that final pump, so then we can send it to hell straight after that. Now, Dupes is talking about NVIDIA drops earnings today. Okay, he says this is what's going down. Street. I mean, Dupes is so like he's such a vibe. Instead of saying Wall Street, he goes street. The street's expecting 43 billion revenue, 0.88 earnings per share, gross margin estimated 71%, blah, blah, blah. This isn't just another chip report. It's an AI sentiment check. Did you notice virtual pumping, AI XBT pumping in the last few days? Now they are selling into NVIDIA earnings. Okay,
and
so
render plummeting.
Yes,
Have
they
you seen
are
render?
taking profits into the
render
earnings.
actually got delisted at Coinbase.
Wow.
And that's what caused all that FUD, but it's the old render on the ERC20 network. I'm like, how does that still exist? That was a year ago.
Render's on Sol now.
Everybody's dumping that because they think the real render, the current render has been delisted. It's just the old one. They still have the Sol-based one.
Render fundamentally is good. Okay, get it on a level. If we got time here, while Chaos is showing us his stuff, I'll bang out a render chart. Okay, so guys, don't panic. Okay, NVIDIA is good. I mean, render's good. If NVIDIA rips later on today and you bought render on a level, I think you're going to be pretty happy
good buying
with
opportunity.
That. Okay. So 100%. So this is listening to the NVIDIA call tomorrow with 2.75 shares. Okay, we are all waiting with bated breath. Yeah, this is going to be a pumper. So for me, guys, I want to see the hard push. Now we're not getting this gap up today. I really wanted to see this push. I wanted to take this risk on live with you guys for shits and giggles, and I wanted to go long or short based on a vote from you guys. But it's just not moving at the moment, and it's literally becoming a lottery now leading into the results, because we've seen in the past NVIDIA can pump 8%, dump 9% post earnings, and your danger of being in a position on NVIDIA is if you get it wrong, there's a possibility that it gaps down below your stop losses, all those things, and you can get proper liquid on these things. So if you're going to take a bet, make sure it's not too big that you're prepared to lose. Okay, so if you are going to go long or short and you're going to pick a direction, I'm expecting a big move tomorrow in one of the directions, but just remember, if you get it wrong, licky's time. Okay, it can come around the corner. Now, in terms of Tesla, I think it's on. I think it's time we now need to start laddering into some Tesla shortage here. You can see at the moment our oscillator has printed that VWAP reversal, and we're going to get this bearish divergence here. Okay, so I'm getting quite excited about Tesla. I think we are going to get a short here on BTCC. So just a matter of time. We are super, super close. I don't think there's urgency here. We'll see in the next couple of days how this is going to play out. But we are in the zone here. We can start looking at building some positions. So this is looking good for me at the moment. Then in terms of my Microsoft, again, still doing absolutely nothing. It's still relatively flat at the moment, sitting short Microsoft, waiting for something to happen. You can see we're getting our reversals as well. So the signs are there. Obviously, I just want this thing to hold. I don't want to take lickies here above that type of level there. So if we go above this 470 zone, probably going to start cutting that situation. Okay, so that is Microsoft, waiting for it to fall over. Then in terms of gold, hopefully you guys got a little bit of a gold scalp yesterday. I've been enjoying scalping some gold here on the lower time frames. That's been quite fun. And you can see gold now at the moment is actually teeing up a little bit bearish on the 12-hour. Look at this. We've got a little bit of a head and shoulders situation here. Okay, and remember, if this does drop lower, this is going to be our big macro bounce here. That is where I think we're going to get tons of pain in the market. Remember, as long as gold is falling over, you're going to get a little bit of energy in some of the other markets. But then the minute gold pumps, you're probably going to find that some of those other markets take a bit of strain. But you can see short term now, gold is looking bearish. And the big one, 3250 for me, is making a lot of sense, down to 3,210. Look at that little banger over there. Okay, so in terms of the degen play, well, this was our little bounce play yesterday. We didn't quite hit the full right shoulder, but it wasn't a bad one. Okay, it wasn't a bad one. And now, obviously, we can see this setup. So if we do lose the head and shoulders, that is where we're going to end up, somewhere in that region. And then we're going to look for that bounce again. Okay, so this is obviously yesterday's trade, but it should still be valid. You should still get a reaction off that region if you want to try again. But for me, I'm just going to leave it now, and let's see if we do get it a little bit lower. Okay, so that is the current gold situation. Obviously, I'll update this in Chart Hackers for you guys. And remember, all the charts you see today go straight into Chart Hackers directly after the show, and it will be there. So don't panic, it's all there. And my alarm was going off frantically just now because LaunchCoin, where's LaunchCoin here? LaunchCoin is moving into our zone that we earmarked the other day. So we're going to look at that one in a couple of minutes. Chaos, if it starts running randomly, won't you let me know? And then we can sort of skip to it a little bit earlier. Okay. Now let's talk BTC. Still bearish on the daily in terms of the oscillator. So this hasn't changed at the moment. What is holding us up right now? Well, it's our big horizontal support on the daily. That is our 107 to 106 zone. And this is now about to get tested. This is like squeaky bum time. This is where you get the balls tested, if you know what I mean, if you're holding on to positions. So 107 to 106, that is going to be your big support that we're watching. We don't really want to lose that. If we start closing under these types of regions, you know what's going to happen. We're going to start looking at 100, 101, those levels. Then we're going to look at 98, and then there's going to be tears because I'm going to start banging out low 80s and things like that, and it's going to get filthy. So right now, let's just focus on where we are. 106 is where it's at for me at the moment, and we'll keep watching here. Chaos, I'm going to stick my alarm on because what I think typically could happen here is some kind of quick wick through this low, and then some kind of V-shaped pump out of this thing. Okay, so let's stick an alarm on here at these lows. And if BTC starts dropping in this area, maybe we can catch a little scalpy there. Okay, maybe we can get a little bit of fun. Now, let's talk liquidation heat maps. And what I've done here is I pulled out the 1 week for you guys just to show you the size of the mix of these heat maps to the upside and the downside. You can see there's so much action here down to 104K. Look at that, just under 105. There's loads of action here for the market makers if they want to just drop it into one of those zones. And then upside, you can see it's nice and clean. 110 to say 113 is quite a big area. And we know the brighter yellow these things get, the likelihood of a visit from the market makers starts increasing. So we just need to manage ourselves and understand these zones. And these are the areas that can get hit. So now in terms of pushing down to 105, let's just see where that is. And you can see that is this big region over here. Okay, so that is actually a possibility here. Okay, so let's take a look if we do drop down there. But look, I don't think it's going to be in a straight line. We might get a bounce like that, and then they come back down and hit that later on. Okay, so we just got to manage that accordingly. We're obviously going to pay tons of attention to our dominance as well. Now, Miles actually dropped this, and this is obviously a reminder. We've spoken about this on the show quite a bit, but he says no one's talking about it. Well, I was talking about it, but FTX is distributing 5 billion stable coins to creditors. Okay, so that could be a little bit pumpy. I see James nodding a little bit in the back. He concurs.
Quite possible, yep. Yeah, this has kind of been ignored. Well, FOMC and NVIDIA and all this stuff talked about. I was like, oh, right, this is tomorrow.
but it is liquidity, guys. It's coming. And remember, my view on the FTX guys were degens. Why are they suddenly now not going to use it to buy shitcoins? Especially at these types of levels and some of these.
Some of it, at least. All of it, of course, won't be, because some of this will be claims that were already bought, but there will be some money that can head this way for sure.
For sure. And remember, BTC needs to bounce very soon, or Ben Cowan's thesis is going to come true. He's saying BTC pairs just put in their lowest weekly close all cycle. Okay, so there is possible pain coming here for the alts, and we'll thank him later. At one point, I am going to get him. He's going to come on my show. I'm sure he'll do me the courtesy at some point. Now, let's look at this. Chaos, are you working on this WCT again for me? Okay, Chaos is working on WCT. I think we're going to get a short here on this guy, and he's going to put something together reasonable for us, and we're going to give you a nice low leverage short opportunity here on this WCT. We're going to do this one live, and are you pumped about this one, sir?
I might be.
He might be. Okay, so we're going to bring that out in a couple of minutes. You can see this thing is super overcooked. Okay, so we're going to get this one going in a sec. Now, in terms of dominance, you saw my tile, okay? You saw it above the 50-day MA, else dump. Below the 50-day MA, else pump. So if you're wondering why you haven't been absolutely decimated just yet, as you can see, this dominance is holding quite nicely, and it's the first time dominance has closed under the 50-day moving average since this candle on the 18th of May. That's 10 days in a row we've had dominance above the 50-day MA. Is this a little omen that we are going to get a small little push in the alts here before they come and kill us? So obviously, ideally, we're looking for this move into 63.4%, and then we'll take what they can get. Okay, if the market gives us that move, we're going to grab it with both hands. Okay, we're going to run. But there's going to be danger at 63.4%. So look out there if it does continue down. So this is a good start for us. And obviously, one of the pairs we need to watch is this USDT dominance, because it's no use paying just attention to dominance if this thing is ripping. Okay, this is obviously a bit of an issue for us. And you can see our USDT dominance is busy with yet another bearish retest. Ooh, I don't know. Okay, we really need this thing to reject quickly. Let's take a look at our oscillator here. Our oscillator turning bullish, guys. Woo. Okay, well, look, we need a rejection here. It's as simple as that. This thing's got to turn over. But for me, that's obviously a bullish print. You can see divergence. So there's a possibility that it does actually pop through. So guys, prepare the undies just in case. And 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 said Launchcoin just hit our target. Yeah, it's in the zone now. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at that one in a couple of secs. Now, total 3, obviously the big one. And this is all the shit coins together, excluding ETH and BTC. And you can see this thing is losing the 200-day moving average, which has acted as support for it since the 19th of May. Okay, so that's been relatively good there. And obviously, we want to try and hold this level and send it higher. If there is a capitulation, guys, we can use this chart on its own, and this will tell us exactly when we need to ape hard into some of these alts. And for me, that's going to be like 850 down to about 830. That type of region is going to be a hard reversal. But what does that mean for us? It means some of these short-term bounces that we are trying to get now are possibly going to get rinsed, and they might take it down to the next level on a lot of these altcoins. So just prepare yourself. You know, my strategy right now is, again, we're not aping too hard on too many coins. You're going to see now what is going down, especially on this 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 account that I'm running. We're playing super cautiously at the moment. We're waiting for the right moments. When we get momentum, we're going to start pushing buttons on these things. But right now, we can test these levels, and we can see how it goes. If there is momentum, we can start pushing higher. Now let's talk the daddy shitcoin ETH. And James, did I say yesterday, or did I not say yesterday, this is a danger zone for ETH, and why would this time be different? Okay, and I gave you guys a reason why ETH was going to reject there at the 200-day MA. And just to take it through, I used my magical oscillator that gave us, it was on the 1 hour, but it gave us all these reversal signs, previous cases, and this time was absolutely no difference, and and it gave us that rejection. Now, what do we do with ETH in the short term? Well, if there is going to be a short-term bounce on ETH, the big one for me is going to be between 2,580 and 2,550. So I've highlighted that there for you guys in the circle, and that makes the most sense to me to give us some kind of move. And when I say some kind of move, it could just be this downtrend. So we could get a drop into that, and then some kind of pump up, and then maybe some more downside. So right now, that is the big one for me, that zone. So call it 2,580 down to 2,560 makes a bit of sense to me on ETH. That's short term. If it loses that, while we're going back to this 2,450 again, and we're going to start the process all over again. Okay, so that is ETH in a nutshell. And into the cryptoverse, how's the timing here? Drops short-term bubble risk. Okay, this was when was this? This was yesterday afternoon. Okay, and now Sol at the 200-day moving average taking a bit of pain, and right now it is under a little bit of pressure. Okay, so you can see this was the 3-day chart, and we are literally now in that zone. Okay, this is it, because literally it's bounced now, or I'm actually going to cut my Sol position right now. So we're looking for this bounce on Sol in terms of lower time frame. Look at that, bang into the zones. Okay, and Chaos is here because he's also got some Sol things happening. And for me, there's 2 levels. And what I was saying to James and Chaos just now, it's either going to bounce now or it's going to bounce just now. Okay, so Chaos, tell me when just now is, bro.
Also now.
Okay, so I'm long Sol. Are you long Sol as well?
I'm very long Sol.
Okay, are you very long Sol? Maybe I'm not as long as you. I'm $88,000 long Sol. Okay, but it's also
you're longer than I am.
It's a casualty of a bleed out. Okay, so let's get your chart up here. Let's see what's going on.
You want to do Sol first, right? Okay, hold on.
Give me some Sol. I gotta know if I'm gonna get rinsed here according to your magic.
That's cool. That's cool. Guys, I've just thrown a load of charts out for you in Hackers, by the way, in the Stonks channel, because Dylan was talking about them and I got excited. I've just put a massive trade in Discord for you guys. So after the show, go to the Stonks channel and take a massive trade. Okay, Solana. So this is actually the second time today that the Hackers have entered this. We did this, where are we? We're on the 1 hour. So roughly 7 or 8 hours ago when we were here, I called an entry and I laddered in there, and we laddered in here as well. And I said that if we broke into this box, we would stop out with the view to enter further down. And the new entry is here for you. So we're back in Solana for the second time today. So we got stopped out higher up in order to get a better entry. So that's the first thing. I'm very, very long Sol at the minute. The danger zone, obviously, is if we crack through this level here and then we start heading down to this level, which I'm assuming is your just now at 160. Yeah. So
there's
165
about that level. That level is there's a massive order block there. That's also a macro 236 fib, like a macro pool. So that level holds a lot of weight for Sol, like a proper macro pool from like fucking low. So that's quite a big level there. For me on Sol, that 165 to 165 to
166, but it's there's a 786 there on the local pool as well. So you're going macro, just even from the local pool, from the low, there's a 786. There's a huge amount of confluence. If we see that, all that's going to happen, we're going to get stopped out for a second time today. If it happens, guys, sorry about that, but we will be entering down here, and that will be, instead of being a 10-to-1 trade, you know, it's going to be, where are we? A 16-to-1 trade. Do you know what I mean? It's the lower we go, the more times we get stopped, the better trade that we get. So, you know, this is what we're teaching in Hackers, right? We're trying to explain to people that it's okay to get stopped as long as you get more lives to go back in. And what you're really doing, as long as it doesn't stop you on a wick and then fly off without you, you're getting better trades, you know? So that's one of the things that we're showing people. So for the time being, we're in this for the second time today. I'm really long Solana. My stop loss are currently roughly in the region of 168, which is still pretty close to the wick. Don't get me wrong, we can wick there and it can leave. So it doesn't mean it's a great trade yet, but we can also wick there and we can come down to this 165, 166 level. So for the time being, we got stopped out roughly in this region. We back in here again. We may get stopped, we may not, but whatever happens, we will be getting this.
Okay, keep it simple. This is if we rank this level, for me, if I rank the current level for Sol out of 10 as in conviction, it's probably a 6 or a 7. Yeah, it could be a bounce. Where's my higher conviction zone? 166. That is the big one. I obviously have been sitting in a Sol position trying to just get a burner thing going, because if we blow that 200, I wanted to really get a bit aggressive with Sol. So now I'm obviously paying the price of waiting in that position. So 170 here, where we are, yes, medium conviction, higher conviction, 166. Use that or don't use it. Okay, so just in terms of my my chart, you can see they do tie in very nicely here. And I just want to show you that order block. And for me, I'm waiting for one more thing here on the 2 hour, and we're getting close. So this tells me it's either here or it should be, in theory, this big zone, this 166, 165, and I'm looking for a reversal in this zone. Okay, I'm looking for that to start playing out for me, and maybe that gives us some kind of divergence print, bang, into that zone. Okay, so just remember, always have a plan A and a plan B. The guys that are trading super low margin, small positions, well, you chill, because you're laddering in here, you got another level lower down, you kind of know where the macro zone is, you know where to cut. It's the degens here that can't control themselves, and you know who you are, okay, because I'm one of you, okay, and we watch those levels very closely, and we manage them. Okay, so there's plan A and plan B ready for you guys. We'll make sure that is in Chart Hackers for you guys. Okay, so that is SOL in a nutshell. We're looking for a little bounce, what, 178 up to 180, give or take?
Yeah, my TP is going to be 177.41. I just want to say one more thing. We did this in the 20% club as well on spot. So we chilling, we properly chilling. There's no lickies there.
Spot trading initiative from Chaos in Chart Hackers. So it's a very relaxed trading environment there. Then I wanted to cover 𝗬𝗍 for you guys, because we haven't spoken about this one in a while. Just in terms of 𝗬𝗍, what's going on? There were two major zones for me on 𝗬𝗍 when I looked at this earlier today. Obviously, while the 𝗬𝗍 price has been hovering around up here, you can see this 200-day has started pushing a little bit higher. But in terms of what we're looking at on 𝗬𝗍, you can see where it rejected and why it rejected. This was our big horizontal, 3.75. And you can see we had a VWAP in the way. We had our quantum reactor as resistance. We also had our horizontals as resistance. So where do I see 𝗬𝗍 for me personally? I'd love to see it 3.36, or I'd love to see it at 3.15. Those are the big zones there for me, where I think we get a decent bounce. And note why this lower zone is so important. Look at these horizontals here. Look at the 50-day MA. Look at the VWAP. Look at that rising trend. This is a high conviction zone for me. 3.24 down to 3.15. That's a high conviction zone on 𝗬𝗍, guys, and that is where we can get some momentum there, hopefully, if we do get cooking. Okay, let's cover a couple of shorts and things. So look, it wasn't ideal, but these hedge shorts that we've been banging out obviously helped a hell of a lot when the market falls over. Look at Cake doing well. Look at 𝗬𝗎 doing well. AIXBT, that was from Panda, actually, in Hackers, getting fucking rinsed on PopCat here. I've tried a Zcash, and I've got a Fartcoin burn along. We're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. So that is what's going on. But that Cake 𝗬𝗎, absolute bangers. And Blur, you gave me Blur, Chaos. Thank you for that. No that obviously saved my ass on that dump there. So thank you for that. Guys, let me know in the chats, did anybody take Cake, or did anybody get 𝗬𝗎? Because Cake actually gave us that second bite earlier today. It gave us a pump that you could get with that entry that I did give you guys the other day. And this is what we want to see. I think this guy's dead, honestly. I mean, look at this wipeout. I mean, that's what happened with Cake and with 𝗬𝗎 after that pump earlier today. So, you know, if you're shorting, that's the kind of vibe you want to see. And they gave us a second bite on Cake, and now things are starting to look better after that initial rejection. So hopefully some of you guys got that. So in terms of Cake, there's no real urgency here. Obviously, if the market turns super bullish, that's another story. But in terms of targets for me, 2.5, and then we're looking at 2.28, 2.5 and 2.28 for Cake. So hopefully that just continues to the downside. The exit for me remains the same, close above 2.95, and we cut that Cake position. Okay, so we keep that as it is. Then in terms of quant, I dropped this trade in Chart Hackers earlier today, and I'm actually quite annoyed with myself. I got one tiny entry on this thing. There was a whole plan about how we were going to short this thing to zero, including laddering in and all these types of things, and I only got one measly entry on this quant, and it's now fallen over. So quant has been in the news lately. There's a couple of things going on fundamentally, or whatever the story is, but this is basically us. You know, when someone tells us about the technical part of crypto, we just go, when Lambo, okay? Nobody actually cares. Does anyone here actually care about the technical part of crypto? Do you care, sir?
Not overly. Not overly.
Okay, well, anyway, guys, if quant has a miraculous revival now and starts pumping back up, okay, then you should get another bite, and this trade will be valid for you. So look out. It doesn't mean it's over. There could be a V-shaped recovery on BTC, and that means these alts can start pumping. Okay, so quant can obviously come back. So in terms of my trade plan there on this guy, I started it in Blofin. and there was a tiny position. Let's see if they show. There's the orders. Okay, so I had orders set up 122.5, 125, and 128 are my sell orders there. I was waiting for that pump into that zone to build that size, and then obviously as it falls over, then you can start adding aggressively to that and increasing the size. So we're waiting very patiently there. And then in terms of 𝗏𝗏, what I've got cooking here, I still got some peppy action. I've got Sonic because I actually want to play the Sonic as a swing long, and there's a big level around about 43, 42 to the downside. So we're going to watch here because we are in our bounce now or cut it off zone actually with Sonic right now. So we're going to look at that because that swing play might be quite a low risk opportunity here if it does bounce in this type of zone. So we're going to bang that one out in a second. But in terms of quant, guys, that trade is sitting in chart hackers for you here. I dropped it this morning for the guys. I gave them the whole reasoning behind it and why I was looking to do it. And obviously just got one tiny entry. Okay, this is the rest of my channel today. A couple of updates along the way with what we're looking at. But that is pretty much that. And then in terms of dupe, well, yeah, you know, nice little hedge play off a great area. And this was one of two major rejection zones for dupe. And now we have got this thing starting to cook to the downside. So hopefully some of you got that action. And you can see if this continues now, we're going to get our bearish divergence print. And that should confirm that dupe is going to be headed lower. So you might see a situation like this. If it starts pumping a little bit higher, try and push you guys out and then bring it back down for dupe. So that is kind of what I want to see playing out now on dupe. And AI dumping on NVIDIA results out later today. Yes, that makes sense to me. That's what James is posting there at the moment. And so Bia asked that question. There you go. Okay, so there's your answer. It's a little bit of de-risking. Remember, they started pumping a little bit early into NVIDIA. Now, Chaos is going to bring us some action in a sec. I just wanted to cover this. Elon Musk partners with Telegram. That's the news on TON. In case you guys were wondering why there was a little bit of pompage there. And then we've got this. TON Foundation hires ex-Visa exec, okay, to lead global payment strategy as it scales for 1 billion plus Telegram users. I don't know if that's good or bad, but the man's all over X and doing his thing.
Well, yeah, it's having payments that are running directly through Telegram, right? That's why this is so huge, is that you'll be able to pay each other and send money through Telegram itself without any secondary whatever. That, yeah, that's so two big pieces of news for TON. That's why that massive candle is huge today.
Yeah, and it might be a nice short opportunity. And guys, just a couple of things here. We can see these AI agents and AI tokens are now dumping into NVIDIA. And I've got for you AI XBT, possible entry coming in hot now. We got Fartcoin and what's the other one I've got? Virtuals. Okay, both of them are looking good there potentially. And Alexandra took the quant trade this morning. Nice, bro. Well done. And you obviously got a bigger size than me. I'm feeling a little bit upset with my emotions at the moment. Okay, let's look at TON. Let's see what the story is. And you can see when these things pump, what you need to do is, in theory, okay, what you need to do, don't chase the green candle, rather sit back and say, where can I short this thing? Where's a big zone? I've missed the green pump. Why must I chase a green candle, put myself at risk? Why don't I sit back and wait for a massive short zone? Okay, so just think about it. Think about the opposite when you see a big green candle, and the same when you see a big red candle. Don't think, now I must start shorting. You must think, now I must look for longs. Okay, same story. And what has TON done? I've tried to just break it down for you guys as simply as possible here, but you can see here's a typical horizontal in the way. And let's actually see if there's some fibbage here, if this is the same thing. Look at that. Oh, is anybody surprised? Chaos, are you surprised?
Not really.
It pumped and it rejected off a random 618 fib, the simplest TA in history. Okay, is there. If you guys want to know how to do simple TA, come to my accelerator course, guys. It's hot. It's got all the TA that I do. I tie it in with all the oscillators, and you're going to be able to make these decisions on your own within 10 days. You're going to be trading leverage. You're going to be figuring out these reaction zones, these hot zones. Look at that. What a coincidence that it rejected at a typical 618. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's as simple as that. TA doesn't have to be complicated. Trading is complicated enough. Don't let TA be complicated. Just come and do my accelerator course. Guys, remember, everything I talk about is in the show description for you underneath. From all the exchanges to my accelerator school to chart hackers, it's all here for you guys. There's a nice fat shopping list for you guys if you want to get involved in some of the things. Okay, so in terms of TON now, Well, you can see when these things pump, you look for two big short zones. Now, this is obviously one of the first ones. This is a nice horizontal in the way. It's too late now. You can see it's rejected pretty hard. What you want to do is obviously catch these things when they're nice and green into those zones. But in terms of a high conviction short zone for me on TON, 4.2 up to 4.3 or 4.4. 4.2 to 4.4. I would be cautious about this. Okay, so if there is more action on TON, I would be cautious about this little group, this little undercarriage there. That could be quite naughty if they do push it a little bit higher. But I believe that zone is going to be your high conviction short zone. You can see on the 3-day, it's still got a bit of energy. If you take a look on the daily, what you want to see is how overbought or what's the daily looking like. And you can see this daily is actually turning a little bit bullish at the moment. You might see something like this and a bit more downside, but this daily could be a sign that TON does eventually churn higher. So just be patient. Your big short zones are 3.66, and then you've got 4.2 to 4.4. Those are your big short zones there on any TON strength that you guys can look for to the upside. Okay, so there you go. There's a breakdown on TON, and I'd be careful of longing it now. Remember, these things are news-based pumped. We don't know what's going to come next now with this thing. Maybe the market's happy, but is that going to drive it more? I don't know. Are they making money yet? I don't know what the story is. So just be careful with those things. And James Wynn, now he's told me he's coming on my show. I think he's talking to the guys. It's looking like Monday or Tuesday. He's going to come on my show on Banter Plus. And guys, one more reminder here. I'm on Crypto Live today, but I do this trading content Monday to Friday on Crypto Banter Plus. So if you are liked and subscribed here, that's amazing because I'll be here occasionally, but my home is Banter Plus, and that is where you're going to find me. So if you're wondering where I've been since you saw me with dupes, I'm on Banter Plus every single day doing cool shit like this, and sometimes getting rinsed and sometimes pumping out of these things. So here we go. James Wynn just deposited all the remaining 200 billion Peppy, that's $2.8 million, to Binance. He might sell it and go all in on his BTC long, according to Look On Chain. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Peppy, now this has been a little bit painful for me watching this thing, and painful for anyone who took this trade with me, because all we've done is just chop around. And I think this has been a fair sign with what the majority of the alt market has been doing the last couple of days while we wait for a move. So hopefully today is the day we get a move. And the question is that I keep asking myself, is that move back down here, okay, on some bad FOMC and then the bounce, or do they rip it from where we are sitting here at the moment? Okay, so in terms of levels that I'm watching today, you can see this 135 is a zone of interest for me. Okay, there was a possible 1 hour reversal, and then I said the 2 hour still wants to come down. That was earlier today, and now you can see that 2 hour is pushing. So we are getting close, but we're talking about time. So we don't know how far this thing can drop, but we know from a time perspective, probably in the next, I don't know, 8 hours, 6 hours, we're going to have some kind of reversal here. And whether that is on the current level or whether they have now hunted us and dropped us lower down, that remains to be seen. All your job is all you need to do is make sure you are prepped and ready to go when it does start falling over. And when you see that reversal coming, you want to be ready. And normally those reactions are on 135, 13, and 126. Those are the high probability zones that I would look for longs there if this thing starts falling over, and to try and tie that in with a 2 hour reversal. So just look out for that, guys. Just watch these levels. You can set your alarms, do these things, and those are probable areas there for Peppy. Okay, that makes the most sense. I'm going to stick these charts in Chart Hackers for you guys. Let's get Chaos back up. Mia says, when we farting? Chaos, can we fart?
Why not? Fart for me. We can fart. We can fart. I'm messing around with Casper. Hold on. There you go. There you go. There you go. There is fart coin. Okay, so obviously just to zoom out and show you guys where we've come from. Hold on. What's that? The 3 hour. Look at this unbelievable price action. Disgusting. So anyway, back to the 3 hour. We have been in an ascending channel for some time now, since, where are we? Back on the 24th of March. Okay, so it's a couple of months. Since then, we've been bouncing off the tops and the bottom of these channels all the way up, which is great. Gives us a little bit of history to work with and some candles. What we currently see at the minute is the most recent sell action, or sell, indicator. As you can see from previous ones, when we've had a sell and the candles have turned pink, we've had a sell-off. We turn green for a buy. We've had a buy. And there's a really good example there of a sell. Another good example of a sell. And what we've got now is another example of a great sell. So what we're having to come across at this point is the bottom of the channel again. We've got a quantum reactor. And if we look down at the oscillator, which we absolutely love using, we've got lots of bullish divergences printing. We've got this RSI, which is coming in really quite low. The last time we were low was here, and we ended up from there right the way back up here again. Same again when we were this low here. We ended up here. That was a really big move. So the signs are, this is a slightly older entry. The signs are there's probably somewhere in the region of an 8 or 9 to 1 trade coming with an entry pretty much now. Okay. So the trade would be as follows. We would enter now, which is around the 128 region. We'd probably want to set our stop loss to be absolutely safe below these wicks here, which is a fair push down at 116. So what I'd rather do is keep my stop loss closer, okay, in line with this cluster here. Let me zoom in for you guys. Hang on. There we go. Let's just zoom in so you can see everything. I'd rather keep in line with this cluster here, okay? So better still, a good stop loss be around 124. That gives you enough give that if we get some more wicks to cover this price action here, we've got a little bit of space to run. Okay, so for me, entry is now 128 region. Obviously, the closer that you enter down to the 124 region, in theory, the better your trade. Okay, and then I'll take profit if we were to run a line up this channel. It basically cuts across around the 171 mark. Now, that seems like a push at this point. So what I'd rather do is be a little bit more realistic and have 2 take profits set. And the first one I would set would be here, which is in line with this. This is how I set my take profits. All of these candles, guys, cluster, 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 all the way through. Support, resistance. So the first TP level is around 142, okay? And then the second one, you'd want to aim really for here. And let's say somewhere in that region. So if we were to grab this tool and put it back to there, it's still a 6 to 1 trade, 6.5 to 1. It's a great trade, guys. So my TPs, my TPs are 143 and 157. Okay.
When TP. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so I just want to give you the guys the backup level, but I'm bang on. I'm long here with Chaos right now, and it's the nice thing is he does different stuff to me. Okay, and you're going to learn so much from him in Chart Hackers with his methods and how he goes about things. And at the end of the day, look at this. I mean, I come up with my chart, and we pretty much got a similar situation going on. Okay, and that is why I'm long on this fart here in this zone at the moment. It's literally here. Just like Sol, just like 𝗶𝗆, just like all of these others. If it doesn't bounce here, guys, it's the next one is 1.2. It's simple. Okay, so where's the ape zone for me? The ape zone is this whole region. This is where you build a swing trade. Okay, that is the swing trade. This is where you look for a little scalp on Altcoin, try and ride it up to resistance, and then maybe we get it back down into those types of regions. So that's exactly how I'm trying to play this one at the moment. Obviously, if it starts absolutely ripping, we'll deal with it. And maybe we get lucky and that VWAP sitting up there, you might see that we pump into the VWAP or something like that, but we'll deal with that. Let's first get an entry. Let's see if this thing's going to start working. If it does start working, then we start dealing with TP zones and all these things. But right now, it's about securing an entry. And for me, this is it here, this 1.28 down to 1.27. And then if this zone fails, your backup zone, it's a banger. It's a proper banger. 1.22 down to 1.16. You're going to ladder in here. I'm going to do one of those slow laddering in trades. We're going to look for that slingshot out of Altcoin. Okay, so just be patient there. If you miss this thing, if you're watching the show and this thing has run 2 or 3%, rather just look elsewhere. Okay, rather just wait because I do suspect it's something like this is going to happen, even, something like that. Okay, so that is that. And where do I find the oscillator? Says, Abe, come do my accelerator course. And you can find everything there. And I'll teach you guys exactly... Oh, man, I've lost my screen. I'll teach you guys exactly how to use it as well. You'll see it's all there for you guys. It's going to make so much sense. And it's really... You're going to be doing this in under 10 days. Okay, very, very simple stuff for you guys. Okay, Altcoin, we're done. Okay, let's talk AI agents and what is interesting to me. So here is... 𝗂𝗔𝗍𝗔 selling off into the NVIDIA news. Is it a big enough sell-off for us? We'll have to wait and see. But in terms of the sell-off, we've had a 12.5% dump already. And in terms of where do we look for longs, well, we're getting there. Okay, so we're nearly there. 22 for me, 22, guys. That makes a lot of sense. If we dump tonight and we lose levels, your next banger, 198. Okay, so 22 and 198. I've got a lot going on here for these guys. Look at this absolute banger zone down here. Okay, always be prepared for lower. Never just bank on one level. Make sure you are ready for lower in case the shit hits the fan. 198, guys. That is a proper banger down there. And then in the interim here, there's a possible long. Look for one more dip into 22, somewhere there. Something like that could be playing out, and then you might just have that downtrend. Remember, that downtrend just could be that story before we get a bounce. So possible short-term bounce here for you on 𝗂𝗂𝗋𝗄, and you can see we got a reversal print now. That's a good start. What we'd love to see is, and just to be clear for everybody why I prefer this, because we get divergence. What happens here is you get a push up, then this prints a higher low over there, and then you're probably going to find the price dips into that zone, bang, and the price prints a lower low, and then those two diverge, and then you get a pump hopefully off these types of levels. Okay, so that is how I would play 𝗂𝗂𝗋𝗄. Then the same with virtual. Look at these things. They're identical, other than virtual has a little bit more work to do to the downside. So if you're looking for some sneaky entries, a little bit degen here, 2.22, that makes sense. And then I've got a mini banger here, 2.11. That makes sense to me. And both of these could easily just be, I'll remind you again, both of these could easily just be the downtrend. Okay, so it's like that, and you could just have those moves. Okay, so it could be easily something like that, but it's 228 and it's 211, making sense to me there on those two levels. Okay, so that's a nice one. Chaos, what else is cooking there in your kitchen?
I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 absolute bangers. I can give you...
Give me two. Give me two of your best.
All right.
Okay, give me 2 of your best. Give me 2 of your best.
I'll tell you what.
I'll give all his alpha away. He's in hackers for you guys. Okay, that's why we invented it. Okay.
We've got something special hackers for you guys. Okay, listen, I'll do 2 very quick ones, but I'm not going to dive deeply into them. The first one is 𝗏𝗏. Sounds awful saying it. 𝗏𝗏, whatever. Anyway, very, very simply, guys, we've had a red cash flow for quite some time. Okay, that's this wave that runs behind, or money flow, whatever you want to call it. And that translates to, these dips. Okay, there's another one. When we go green, we get real big pushes up, like big pushes. If you then bring that down, look at I don't know what that was in terms of a pump, but I can tell you roughly 2.5x your bag, 245%. So don't discount a nice green cash wave. What I'm seeing at the moment, the cash flow, which has been red for all this time, is getting very close to this 0 line, which runs through the middle, which means we're probably coming close to the end. And after red comes green. Okay, so if we've got green cash flow, which means money's flowing in, we've also got the RSI, which is finally shit the bed all the way down to a reversal level, which is fantastic. Yay. And then to complement that, my name is Jeff, and to complement that, we are back in the absolute low area again. So I've pulled out 3 what's this thing called, price range tool, three price range tools for you, very simply as before. First resistance here, second resistance here, and then local highs here. Guys, if you're running a 10x on this thing, that's a 460% move. This is an absolute monster of a trade, and it's very, very simple. This is a range trade. I'm sure there'll be some fibs that line up with this as well, but I'm keeping it really simple, guys. I've drawn a line at the bottom, and I've given you 3 targets. Okay. Yeah.
So we're just waiting for that little reversal. I see you getting the candle reversals on your indicators there as well on the other clusters. So we're just waiting for that dip. So guys, just wait for it. Okay. It's coming. Just be patient. You could, what is the range there from where the current...
You're gone. I was gone, Dill. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. What is the range from where the current price is down to those wicks? That is the question, because I just want them to know how deep their risk is.
Your risk is about 5%. So it's still, you got to perfect your entry,
Yes. So guys, just understand, just a quick little lesson. 𝗂𝘅 specializes in low leverage and spot trading. And if you guys are interested in that type of stuff, that's what he does all day for you guys. So what he's presenting to you is a possible move here, but your risk is 5%. So manage your entry accordingly. Obviously, ideally, you want to wait till it gets lower down in that zone, and don't ape too hard. These things are super volatile, and they can obviously hurt you if it goes the wrong way. But in terms of what we're looking at, there's a possible reversal coming here. Okay, nice. So these candles,
I've highlighted these for you. What this indicator gives you guys is actually a bit of an inkling when the bottom is in. It gives you bullish engulfing candle print, multiples each time. So what you'd want to see here, very simply, when you get the EG print here, you would in theory be if that happens to coincide with this level and your risk is only 1% or 2%, you want to start throwing the cat at this thing, or the hamster.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. And that's your risk. So your upside is obviously your upside, and just always understand what your risk is. Okay, what else are you cooking there?
Sorry to say it out loud, Cardano, but we had a banger last week. I gave you a monster trade.
I'm still got some Cardano.
I gave you a monster trade on this
one
last week. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. Very simply, upwards rising trend meets a very, very well-established level of support and resistance for months and years. Okay, we've got, I mean, it's just so good. Like, we've got an RSI which is coming down to the bottom. What I'm slightly nervous of is that we haven't yet completed the RSI. We haven't had this yet. Okay, so there is a chance that even though the candles, and this is another sign for you guys, the candles are going purple. And what happens after they go purple? There's a big green chunk. All right. So we're going purple now. So this is another reason why I'd expect to see a big green chunk, which is why I've got a price tool pulled up to this level. But my concern is the RSI doesn't seem to have finished yet. So potentially you might get that. All right. And that will be fine. It's okay because it may not close. And Dylan and I obviously always talk about candle closes below a certain range. It's quite possible that if you were to enter now, you would get wicked out, okay? And then it would come back and leave without you, and then you'd lose your stop loss. So what you want to do is you want to drop down to the lower time frames. Just keep an eye on this thing. Watch the smaller candles. I mean, we can see here that actually it hasn't quite made an engulfing candle. But on the lower time frames, the RSI is low. The cash flow wave is very red. We've had no engulfing candles yet print. So we'll just have to watch it. Don't ape in now because you might get the wick. Rather, watch your trade, wait for the wick, wait for the engulfing candles to print, wait for this to turn. And when it wicks back in, this is essentially your confirmation point that the long is good. Okay.
There you go. The biggest shitcoin in history. I can't say that anymore. I'm friends with the Cardano girls. I can't say that anymore. Okay. Fundamentally the most amazing token I've ever dealt with. Okay. So, yeah, there you go. Nice little setup. I'm still sitting in that on Blowfin, bro. So, yeah. Okay. So, look, we're going to add, just again, guys, very important information here. Okay. Don't ape into every single long that you see today. Pick one or two. There's always a chance the market drops further. There's always a chance you can hit a stop loss. Don't be in a position where you allocate all of your capital and then you're stuck in longs only and then things fall over. Okay, so just be smart about this. Don't ape into everything because there's always a chance there is more downside. Okay, so manage your risk accordingly. It's very, very important. Okay, what do you got here? You're looking at hype. Okay?
I've got hype open. This is a quick one. We are at a level now, okay, but RSI is not reset. Cash flow waves coming down. Rather, guys, set yourself an alarm around this level, which is around $28.80. If you see that, this is your if you see that, this is your long zone. Okay. If you go long now, there's every chance you might get wrecked. Okay. It's just the cash flow wave looks bad. There's bearish divergences playing out. I mean, this cash flow is up the top. We need to really come down like so. Okay. So don't be fooled into thinking, oh, we've hit a bounce zone. What you might get here is a head and shoulders and then the dip. Okay, so that's it for hype. But your entry on hype is going to be probably in the region of 28.60, something like that. That's it for that one.
Yeah, look, I like hype a lot. I'm dying for an entry on hype. I think I have discussed this hype a little bit. And what I want to do for hype is when there is a market capitulation, and we know there's going to be one at some point, that is when I personally want to buy some hype. So I'm waiting for a proper wipeout, and I think hype will be bought up really quickly. I think it will have a snapback bounce super quickly. And this level that KS has dropped for you here on that 382, what is that level?
So rising trend meets support and resistance 28, call it 28.50.
28.5, guys. That for me is a big major buy zone. Look at that quantum reactor coming up there. Look at the horizontals. Look at the rising trend. 28.5, be ready. Okay, if hype drops down there, it's going to snap back pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure that will be snapped up very quickly by those that missed the last run. Okay, so that is hype. Okay, now, guys, let's go through the shitcoin casino. I know you guys are dying for a couple of other setups. So in terms of S, no changes yesterday. We looked at this yesterday. This is it. It must bounce here or it's dropping 15%. Don't write it down. Don't write it lower. If you start losing levels here, this thing can end you 15% down for the next bounce. So I'm long here on S. You can see why. Looking for a swing bounce. What is my risk here? Anything under 42.5. If you go lower than 42.5 and you close underneath that, could be quite bearish. Okay, so look out there for S from that time frame. If you do lose levels tonight, where's your backup zone? For me, 38 to 37. 38 to 37, that is your backup zone you're looking at. So you've got two zones now on these tokens in case they start rolling over. And then S on the lower time frame, you can track it just like Chaos is doing there as well on some of the lower time frames. And you can see here in this example, you could easily just get a little stop hunt here, some kind of bounce in this area. But this is why we like the zone, because it's quite married to quite a big macro zone. Okay, and that was that zone I've just shown you on that previous chart, and it's sitting somewhere in that box. Okay, so anywhere in this box on the lower time frame is starting to make sense for us. Okay, so there's your picture. If it doesn't bounce here, guys, wait, you're going to get an entry 38 to 37. That is going to be your backup plan. So just make sure you have plan B ready to go in case we fall over. Zcash, I'm holding that short at the moment in Blowfin, and no changes for me. Okay, so I'm just going to let it play out. And DJ and Dave actually said to me today, hold it another day. Okay, and you know what? That's what we're going to do. If it's going to fall over, it must fall over properly. But in terms of that scalp long that I told you about, it's very hard to resist. Look at this, 382 VWAP. Horizontal, and that's why I've sniffed around there on that other account. Okay, so looking for a small little sneaky bounce there on Zcash potentially. If it closes under 49.9, I think that short's going to print, and we are going to 46 or 47, give or take. Those levels. Then let's update Litecoin from yesterday. And again, I know who was in the chat saying it looks like a possible banger. And Creason, it was Creason. And guys, yeah, it does. Okay, and there's some kind of news. Chaos, what's the news? Is it the ETF? What's the story?
You know what? I don't know what the news is, but I see the opposite to you. It's very rare that we disagree. I've got a massive feeling there's a short coming. I just want to say careful with Litecoin.
Didn't you give me a long on Litecoin yesterday? You literally longed me yesterday.
I didn't give. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Well, I told everyone you gave me a long on Litecoin yesterday.
Somebody did though.
Yes.
It wasn't Chaos. It was somebody. But I saw that too. I don't know if it was in the WhatsApp group. I don't know. One of the traders. Somebody was talking.
Me a Litecoin long. Okay.
I can see why. I can see why. I've got it up on my screen right now. We're properly on a diagonal and a real rising trend.
So here's the story. There's some kind of news coming or whatever the story is on Litecoin. So I hear, and I dropped it in Hackers today. I said, guys, you know I don't like this thing. Okay, but here it is, and here's a level for Litecoin. Okay, so we're looking at two bounce zones for this thing. Okay, this is the first one, obviously 94 down to 93. Okay, that's the first one. And then we've got lower down, we've got 90, which is the banger from yesterday. We got VWAP 50-day MA 382. I'm pretty confident in that zone at that 90 level for some kind of bounce there on Litecoin. Now, if this, I don't even know what the news is, guys, but if it comes out and there is some short-term pump, I wouldn't hang around. Okay, I'd get out of this thing relatively quickly, because you can see this 200-day MA is a little bit of a problem here, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, in terms of range highs, if this thing really is going to rip, that's the possible upside zone that you're looking at, 130. But other than that, guys, 90, that's the zone. If you want to play Litecoin, that's the level. If you lose the 50-day MA, you lose the VWAP, it's simple. get out of this thing. Okay, keep it super simple there and start jumping. And let's see, Uncle Dill, Sonic driving me bananas. What we saying? Look, we need to pump this thing. It needs to go. Okay, so Litecoin. Now what do you want to do with Litecoin? You want to send it down?
Listen, the 2 hour is bearish. There's even bearish divergence just printed. I think we're going to sink below. There's a diagonal uprising trend currently, right? I think we're actually going to lose it temporarily. And I think I mean, it's not much. I'm talking $92. We're at 95 now. The 12 hour, however, is completely showing me what you're saying. So I think there's going to be a short-term loss of this trend, and on the 2 hour, 3 hour, and the 4 hour. But what's going to happen is I think there'll be a recovery on the 12 hour. And it might just look like a wick on the 12 hour. So it might be a nothing burger. It's just at this exact moment in time, the 2 hour to me looks pretty tragic. You know, it's looking
yeah. Look, guys, it all depends on the time frame you're watching, obviously. But in terms of big, hard-hitting zones, for me, this guy here, but the banger is here. This 50-day MA down there, that 50-day MA VWAP 382. 90, guys. You close under 88, 89. You close under there. Yeah, okay. Then we're wrong. Then we get out. And Dupe said it's for an ETF. Okay, so look, we know what ETF does. Short term, nothing. Okay, you might get 5 or 10%. Okay, so just play that thing safe. Yeah, I don't love Litecoin. Okay. Let's see what Yumi says. I love Dylan. Doesn't know the news, but he knows it will pump. Trust me, bro.
So the vice president is live at the Bitcoin conference right now on the stage, apparently talking bull news, and maybe that's why we're having a bit of a bounce here.
Okay, well, that could end really quickly. So, guys, just remember some of the big things here. We've got that quant short you want to look at. Nice hedge play. If there's another pump on cake, nice entry coming there for that. Dupe as well. You might be able to reload on some of these shorts. Then you've got short-term bounce zones. You've got cover. You've got your backup zones. You've got your backup plans lower down. You know exactly where your next level is in case the market falls over. You understand the risks. You understand where the zones are. I think we've done well. I think we've covered everybody relatively well until tomorrow.
For now, yep.
Well, that can end quickly. Okay. Chaos, thank you for your insights and your stuff. You can find this legend in Chart Hackers, obviously. That's where we hide him. But I'll let you in on a secret. Soon he's going to be on YouTube. Just saying. Okay, goodbye. Okay. Whose eyeliner's on point? Chaos.
The vice president. Don't you know everybody talks about he's got his eyeliner on and all the memes and everything?
He wears like high heels and shit. I've seen it.
High heels.
Like the big heels. Okay, thank you. See you later. Okay, guys, be safe out there. Okay, like I said to hackers earlier today, again, like it's a little bit choppy. I've been a little bit flat the last couple of days. We're waiting for the big move. When we get the big move up or down, then we action. Okay, right now we're sitting on some nice levels. There's a possible bounce coming in here, but is it going to be short-lived? Let's not hold on too long. Maybe 5% on some of these, maybe a little bit more. Let's see how it goes. If we dump, you got your plan for the next zone and you sorted, hopefully, till tomorrow, unless they come and absolutely end us. Okay, see you guys later.